us have dreamt of being a fighter pilot, flying the latest jets, battling it out in the sky, and of course, always winning. For most, they are just dreams. But how could those dreams come true? Could we really put on that gear, climb into the cockpit and fly? We're too young? Who said anything about age? Our parents wouldn't let us fly? I bet they would, if they knew you were being trained by the Royal Air Force. Never heard of the Air Training Corps? If you have, we'll tell you more. And if you haven't, you're in for a big surprise. The Air Training Corps, the ATC for short, is an organization that started up just before the Second World War. It has a wealth of things to offer you, including all the experience needed to be able to fly solo. Although there are close links with the RAF and you wear similar uniforms, the ATC does not set out to push you into the service, but it does give you an insight into just what air and military training is all about. The ATC's aims may at first seem like those of the Scouts or the Boys Brigade, but it gives you the chance to find just that bit more real adventure. The cadets use live ammunition on both RAF and Army ranges, but only, of course, under the watchful eye of qualified adults. Discipline is of the utmost importance. The trained officers are always there to give their expert guidance, advice, and tuition.
Don't fire whilst the red flag is flying at the firing points. Keep the rifle pointing down the range at all times. Don't load the rifle until you're told to. Right, first two will have you and you.
Prior to enrollment, you may have the opportunity to use an air rifle. However, having been enrolled, you will be trained to shoot with a 2.2 rifle, and once you are a first-class cadet, you will move on to using larger weapons. Visits are frequently made to outdoor ranges away from the squadron base. And by the age of 15, service rifles can be used. Given time, a keen eye, a steady hand and enthusiasm, cadets can earn their Marksman Award, and for those who show aptitude, there is the chance to take part in competition shooting. Apart from aircraft identification and what makes planes tick, cadets can do many other exciting things at their squadron. For example, building boats, canoes, go-karts, and all sorts of electronic devices. Well, yes, wouldn't we all like to fly one of these? But perhaps to start with, building and learning from a scale model wouldn't be a bad idea. And if you have any problems, then there is someone always at hand to solve them. If you wish to try your hand at something new, the ATC will help. All the way. Why not take the time to learn the Morse code? Radio communications play a large and important part in ATC squadron life. Very often, RAF transmitter rigs are used for instructing cadets. You will be taught to become familiar with the language of radio transmitting, and by now that Morse code will have become fluent. Another experience that may be valuable in the future. That's one up on your friends with their CB rigs.
Well, you never know, we might visit you one day over there. We're quite nearby, over.
We now move to description of the angle of attack.
There are, of course, classroom sessions. As well as aircraft knowledge, there are the essential courses in meteorology and navigation. These subjects can be taught to O-level standard, and cadets are encouraged to sit these exams if they wish to do so. After all, 2 extra O-levels can't be bad, especially when you start looking for a job. Without doubt, the highlight of the year is a week's camp on an RAF station during either your Easter or your summer holidays. When you are a leading cadet, you may qualify for camp on RAF stations in Germany, Gibraltar, or Cyprus.
Don't leave anything behind.
RAF Manston is one of the famous Battle of Britain airfields, and this is where some squadrons may spend their annual camp. When cadets arrive at the camp, there are many things which have to be discussed, arranged, and organized. The annual camp gives cadets the chance to see how the RAF lives and works. It's interesting and fun, and you will get a real feeling of team spirit through the many things you do together. You'll find it an exciting time, with many challenges that are rarely found in other organizations. And when it comes to flying, the sense of personal achievement is terrific. As you can see, the food at the camps is standard RAF issue. Cadets enjoy it, so that can't be a bad sign. The whole week won't cost very much, as the only expense you'll have to meet is that of your food. Apart from that, the cadets will only need to carry pocket money. During the rest of the year, there are small subs each month to help pay for games and training. The ATC is predominantly a voluntary youth organization and relies on the goodwill of adult staff and supporters. Squadrons do not receive much in the way of financial support, and so they usually raise money themselves. This money is ploughed back to provide equipment for the cadets. Now that breakfast is over, the flight sergeant obviously thinks it's advisable to shake the food down a bit to avoid any nasty accidents at 1,500 feet. A typical morning could consist of a parade. Or you might actually fly, or go swimming, shooting, or orienteering. In the afternoon, you might be asked to cross a river and only be given 2 matchsticks and a baked bean tin to do it with. The evenings bring with them hikes, lectures, and if you're lucky, you're even allowed to relax.
Now we've completed the pan fires, we're going to have a go at putting out a proper aircraft fire.
When engaged in some activities at the camp, you'll be given the opportunity to stand right in the line of fire. When learning the skills of firefighting, the responsibility for the lives of others will be in your hands. If not for real, certainly with a sense of reality.
Give more revs on the engine. Yes, push it down.
You'll be shown that when fighting fires, right from the smallest pan fire to the largest, most fierce aircraft fire, every second counts. And indeed, in many cases, seconds is all you have. As in so many activities the ATC offers, theory is constantly backed up with valuable, practical experience.
Gentlemen, this is the visual control room. The controller sitting here is responsible for everything.
The control tower is, of course, the heart of an airfield. And whilst these cadets are learning about the function of the tower, others are able to enjoy a passenger flight in the ATC's fleet of aircraft. Indeed, every first-class cadet is given the opportunity of flying each year and to take the controls.
They call me, and we sort it out from there. The runway control is also listening in on my frequencies, whatever I select on this mini-comms panel.
Even better, once you have reached 17 and have O-level passes in maths, English, and 3 other subjects, you may qualify for a flying scholarship, which enables you to have 30 hours of flying experience free, leaving you with only 9 additional hours flying time to pay for to allow you to qualify for a private pilot's license. Throughout the camp, cadets share experiences and build new friendships, both binding together as a team and exploiting personal talent. During the afternoon, whilst the flying and firefighting continues, another group of cadets is firmly on the ground, being shown what keeps the planes in the air. They're being taught the basic principles of jet propulsion, using a real jet engine, something rarely available to the public. The jet engine is a highly complex piece of machinery. However, the officers and instructors are able to teach and explain principles to the cadets in easily understandable terms. After all, many of the officers were themselves once air cadets.
Burner system and ignition system, which would be here, ignites the air and the fuel mixture, forms thrust, which in turn drives another set of blades further back, which is connected to the front. And it will keep on going until you cut out the fuel. That is a basic jet engine, and it's used in the bulk.
Of course, RAF camps aren't the only opportunity to get away. The officers of the squadron will organise several other weekend camps during the year. Almost all squadrons take part in some form of adventure training. These could involve sports, personal survival, initiative tests, escape and evasion exercises, and almost anything you care to think of whilst on camping expeditions.
Is that for it?
Yeah, sorry.
These adventures are, of course, a splendid chance to train for the Duke of Edinburgh Award, which is an important activity in many squadrons. Apart from squadron expeditions at weekends and holidays, cadets can go to one of the ATC's adventure training centres for climbing, skiing, parachuting and many other skills, all, of course, taught by qualified
You
instructors.
came by bus because you're sheep, we know. We sussed you out. Dang, you learnt to cook one day. Well, I'll get the early morning call about...
You'll enjoy these adventures, but their aim is to help you gain experience and self-confidence.
You got social problems.
I'll kick me in all morning.
He's sitting there in the dark eating his feet, he don't know what's going to crawl out of him.
Soon after you enroll, you will have the chance to visit an Air Cadets volunteer gliding school for a passenger flight in a glider. There are 27 schools in various parts of the country. Once you reach 16 and you're a first-class cadet, you can go on a course on which you will be taught to fly a glider solo. Think of it, you could be flying before you are able to drive a car. Each year, up to 2,000 cadets gain their gliding proficiency certificates. This entitles them to wear the Air Cadets Proficiency Gliding Badge and means that they are able to apply for the British Gliding Association A certificate. For many, this is the start of a lifetime career as a gliding instructor, and indeed must be one of the most fulfilling and enjoyable pursuits cadets can take part in. A wide range of sport is available to every cadet in the ATC. Soccer and rugby, swimming and shooting, cross-country running, and plenty more besides. If you're really good at one or more of these sports, you may be chosen to represent your squadron in wing or regional competitions. Outstanding sportsmen represent the ATC against other cadet and youth teams and are awarded the coveted ATC Blue. Teamwork, that's what it's all about. Sharing work and play with others and enjoying it. As with the assault course, where the cadets can push themselves as far as the flight sergeant wants them to go. Of course the ATC has got a band. In fact, many squadrons and wings have one. Very often they're considered good enough to be entered into regional and national competitions. This particular band includes cadets from several different squadrons, and once a year it parades through the streets of London to celebrate ATC Sunday. Instruments? Expensive, yes, but by now you should know that the ATC provides them. What about traveling abroad? Well, each year some 70 to 80 exchange visits take place. If you're between 17 and 19, you could be selected for a 2-week exchange visit to Europe, Canada, the USA, Israel, or even Hong Kong. Cadets follow interesting programs prepared by the cadet organizations of the countries they're visiting. If you're lucky enough to gain a place on one of these visits, you will enjoy the holiday of a lifetime and be sure of making lots of new friends.
It gives me great pleasure to be asked here to present Duke of Edinburgh Silver Awards to the following cadets.
The Duke of Edinburgh Awards scheme demands a great deal of time and energy from the cadets. But already the ATC has gained many hundreds of gold awards and many thousands of silver and bronze medals. As you have seen, many of the tasks set by the Duke of Edinburgh Awards scheme can be achieved during normal squadron activities. This is just one of the ways in which the ATC can give you a start. It allows you to test your ability and find out about yourself, and to see what you're good at. So how does it all sound? Interested? Well, come along, give it a try. You'll enjoy it.